All right, welcome to the May. What is it? May 4th. May 4th, Black Truth episode. All right. Sorry, that was actually horrible.
This is where the fun begins.
By the way, that was this music video right here. I just looked up. Let me see if I can move it. This is a copyright free poor man Star Wars fan. You credit the video. I don't actually know if you, I think on my old YouTube channel, I think back in the day I made like a Star Wars. It was really dumb video about the sequels, and I was actually, it was when I was more positive about the sequels because only like one of the movies came out at the time. But I think I used like John Williams Star Wars music, and I think I got copyright struck. So I don't know how it's gonna be like now if I just play like the actual music. But I think what people do, they just play like music that sounds like it's Star Wars, and I think that's really funny. That for like parodies or anything, you just get like an off-key Star Wars thing. I think that's like really funny. But yeah. So today's our May the 4th Star Wars special episode. Now I know we both have different like stories regarding Star Wars. So if you wanna, Nick, you wanna
I'm fucking retarded.
If you wanna start first with your Star Wars story, because you know how like they have like they had like Solo the Star Wars story, and they had like Rogue One a Star Wars story, and then they just stopped after that. They stopped doing a Star Wars story. So
and then now they just make shitty Disney Plus shows that are supposed to make B movies.
So yeah, do you wanna get into your little story?
I have no fucking clue how I got into Star Wars.
So you're saying it's just always been around? It's
one of those things that's just always been in my life. Well, even like the same thing like with Dragon Ball Z. I don't know how the fuck I got into it. Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's like childhood shit that I obviously still love to this day. I have no clue how I got into that. But
so what's like your earliest memory of Star Wars?
My earliest memories of Star Wars. My earliest memories of Star Wars was. Well, I should lean this way, right?
No, actually, no. Lean into the dark side. You look, just have it look like your face shouldn't even be seen.
But no, yeah, I remember the. Okay, I was like probably like 3-4 years, maybe even 5 years old when the Star Wars 3 came out.
Yeah.
ROTS, Revenge of the Sith, right? So, who was I gonna go with this? Fuck.
We just want to know.
I remember
from the longest I've known you, you're the person into Star Wars. No one else I knew before was into Star Wars before you. Like,
yeah,
I'm keeping it 100.
I've always been innovative. I'm gonna say this. I don't care. I was like when I was a kid, I wasn't like that much into spick shit. So, you know what I mean? Like, no, seriously, because even my mom, I remember my mom telling me that not that long ago. She was like, "You were the only kid that was into like Star Wars or Thomas the Tank Engine, right?" So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I always had like a different taste in what's the word? I always had like a different taste in like media or whatever you want to call it than other kids. Like when we were growing up, everyone was into soccer, right?
Yeah.
I watched baseball and fucking boxing as a kid. So, I don't know. I always had an eccentric taste in, like, stuff. But now Star Wars is pretty mainstream. And it's pretty, I think everyone's seen a Star Wars movie, you know? Like, Star Wars is just part of the American zeitgeist. But my earliest memories of Star Wars was actually, like, the time that Episode 3 had came out. I remember when The Force Unleashed had came out. That was a damn good game. I remember because I was like that was like the first like story that I ever like fell in love with. The story of a Star Killer and The Force Unleashed. And yeah, but going back to Revenge of the Sith, that was a time to be alive, dude. Star Wars was plastered fucking everywhere. You had Obi-Wan, Anakin, Darth Vader fucking posters everywhere. You know, yeah, you know, you had those posters. I mean, dude, like everything was fucking Star Wars back then. Remember the Burger King toys that were around during that time?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yeah, they were like bobbleheads. You actually, can you pull that up?
All right.
Yeah, because they were pretty cool. I still have them. And then they were selling for the kids meal. They had watches too. Like they had like a tin can, and they had like a watch that was Star Wars Burger King toy.
Keep on talking.
So they had like these cool ass watches and shit that came in like a tin fucking in like a tin thing to hold them. They were pretty cool. Like you had Chewbacca, you had all of them. You know, you had a Stormtrooper, Darth Vader, all that shit. And I collected them all. Look at these cool ass toys.
Hold up. Wow, Google Images fucking sucks. I can't just get a fucking image.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have this one, the R2 one. Fuck, it's on my attic. I probably should have brought it out.
Yeah, the Anakin one was so fucking cool, dude. This one right here.
Well, I think this one was cool because I think at this point it was like the secret was already out, like everything was already connected, so they could do like the sequel trilogy or the original trilogy and everything when the marketing for Revenge of the Sith. Because it was like, okay, the cat's out of the bag. You know how everything's connected, so now we could start indulging ourselves in the sequel things. That's why I kind of respect.
You mean original? Original.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's a sequel to the prequels. No, I'm kidding. But so.
But yeah, I just remember everything being Star Wars back then. Like I remember like kids would have like Star Wars like Star Wars fucking folders, notebooks. Fucking Star Wars chonies, nigga. I still have some Star Wars choni. I don't know why the fuck I never threw them away, but I still have them. Yeah, everything was Star Wars back then, dude. Like, I don't know. Like that was a time to be alive, dude. Like I mean, I don't want to be one of those guys that just like glazed the early 2000s, but I mean, it really was a time to be alive, dude. We had Star Wars Episode 3, the video game, come out. We had Star Wars Battlefront 2 come out. Lego Star Wars the video game come out. Then you had the fucking there was a prequel. There was a prequel to the Episode 3, Labyrinth of Evil. I know you have the book somewhere over here. Basically explains how Emperor Palpatine gets kidnapped by General Grievous and shit. And it was cool, dude. Like there was so much promo for it. It was like, and another thing was, I think a lot of people kind of like not ignore, but it kind of goes over people's head how like Star Wars Episode 3 was like edgy. You know, like the edgy 2000s type of like.
It had like some sort of synergy.
Yeah.
To it depicted like not the rage era. It's like the. This era in entertainment where
everything was edgy.
Male aggression was I want to say glamorized, but it was like shown more. 'Cause I think it was like that. It was like WWE was more aggressive.
Like I know Fight Club came out 99.
Yeah.
But it was around that era of like edgy shit, like the extreme, like everything was extreme and everything was like, you know, everything had rock music with it, and that's when like Mountain Dew was like, you know, that's when it was cool to drink Mountain Dew and shit.
Yeah. There's way more entertainment that tapped into like
the cool dude,
the male aggression, but at the same time it was more like, I feel like in the 90s it was like that too, but it wasn't like refined. It was like they just found out. I'm looking at this on the outside. Obviously, he was born in fucking 2001, but just seeing like how like comics in the 90s, how they're like violent or like very edgy. Like
The Boys, the comic series by Garth Ennis, the shitty fucking comic series.
Have you read the comic series?
No.
So you're just taking some YouTuber's opinion?
Yeah, basically.
Well, I'm trying to say is that
Garth Ennis sucks as a writer. I did read Punisher. This fucking sucked.
I don't know. I have to read more Garth Ennis. Cause I like some of his Hellblazer stuff, so I don't really know about that. Maybe if you read some of his Hellblazer stuff, maybe you would understand. But yeah, a lot of the entertainment was more keyed into the male demographic, which is probably the problem that we have now. But so how did you watch the Star Wars movies, or like what time did you watch the Star Wars movies?
What do you mean?
When did you watch the Star Wars movies in your life?
when I was like a kid, dude. I don't fucking remember.
Which one?
I don't remember, nigga. I do not fucking remember at all. I told you I don't know how I got into Star Wars. It's just always been part of my life. Same thing like with Spider-Man too. That's another one I forgot. Yeah, it's just always been part of my life. Bro. I cannot remember the first movie. I don't have like I'm not like these guys. Like, how I remember when I went to the theater with my dad.
Oh my gosh. And I thought you would have that experience. That's why I had you on the show.
No, I don't. It's just always been part of my life.
All right. Anyways, me with Star Wars, like literally ever since I've known you, I just knew you were the guy like Star Wars. They were like, oh yeah, you like Star Wars. I remember kids going up to you and be like, yeah, you're the Star Wars.
Oh, I was the encyclopedia too for Star Wars.
Yeah, you were the I remember in school there'd be like some like I don't know, one of the teachers would say something Star Wars related, and everyone should look at you and be like, bro, you're the Star Wars guy. Yeah. I just remember that. And then but for me I was I guess I was more enamored by Star Wars like all the design, idea? Yeah, as an idea, all the designs and everything. But I wasn't really, I didn't like watch the movies or anything for a long time because as a kid, I don't know why my parents never went like, oh, you should watch Star Wars, like, or like I'm trying to think. I think that's why I'm such a nerd now, because when I was a kid, I just had like a vague, like, I think that's why there's like I think most Hispanic nerds are like that. That's why you never notice like Hispanic dudes who are like really into Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like it's like the one character that they're really into, and they like document like all their like, oh, like back in the day I was a kid, like I'm really into the Raimi movies, and I liked what was one of the shows? I like Spectacular Spider-Man.
Well, that's the one with Drake, right?
No, that was the one that it aired on CW Kids, or at least the first one. It was right before before they bought out Disney, or before Disney bought out yeah, but so this show came out right before.
Yeah, that's the one with Drake.
No, this isn't the one with Drake.
That is the one with Drake.
No, that's Ultimate Spider-Man, bro.
Look up the voice actor for Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh, bro. How much you want? Do you want to bet anything on this right now?
I'll bet you my other beer that it's fucking Drake.
IMDb. If this thing stops freaking lagging.
I'm gonna be right. I know I'm fucking right.
No, because this one. See, look at John Keaton as Peter Parker.
No fucking way. Dude, which was the one with fucking Drake?
It was Ultimate Spider-Man. That was the one that was on Disney XD, bro. So this one was the one that came. At least the first season, from what I remember, it came out on CW Channel 9. If you're in Chicago, and you didn't have cable, this was the show that came out Saturday mornings, and it was, I wouldn't say it was like a faithful well, it was kind of faithful because this was back when like the cartoons couldn't use like all, like it couldn't have like Captain America show up and anything, so it was like entirely focused on like his rogues gallery. But even like at the end of they went to like the Venom arc like pretty soon. I think they went through like the main like villains and everything, and then I think like the main thing at the end of the season was the Venom storyline. So yeah, but what I'm trying to say is that like there's like Hispanic kids that are really like, oh yeah, Spider-Man, well I grew up with Spider-Man, oh, and then they get even more deeper into Spider-Man. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel like at least for Hispanic nerds. So also I noticed I'm bringing race into this video with Star Wars. Black nerds are so annoying because they always have to make it about like they always have to make they have to make everything they like about like being black. Like
yeah, man, like they'll be like, yeah, man, like, you know, like when you I'm trying to think of something funny.
Like they have to be like, oh, like Sonic is secretly black, or he's like black coded.
I was thinking of something like where it's like, oh, my mama had to work 2 jobs, so you know I'll stay up a little late at night.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh yeah, I always like the Marvel comics back in the day.
Yeah, because my dad, you know, my daddy stepped out, you know,
yeah,
he wasn't trying to be a real man, so I had Spider-Man raise me, because every day I go buy me a new comic book. Every week I get a new Spider-Man comic, and, you know, Spider-Man really taught me the good morals. You know, he taught me the good morals and shit, man. Like, you know, he really looked out for a nigga, you know.
And then they get to the point where they're like, oh yeah, Miles cool because he's like in New York and he's black like me, bro. So I fuck with Miles and everything. Or they have to, or like Static Shock, they always have to glaze Static Shock and be like, bro, Static Shock was crazy, bro. He had the Malcolm X hat and everything. But they always have to like they always have to like their interest can't be out of like.
They can't just say I like Spider-Man. It has to.
Or they have to make it about like with anime, they have to make it about like, oh well,
Piccolo's black.
Yeah, Piccolo's black, or like, and they have to make their profile picture like the 5, like no, not even like the 10 black anime characters. Even though half of those characters aren't black, they're just dark tanned anime characters. But they have to like make their whole like appearance around them or LARP as them because man, like because we all black and everything. Or they have to talk about how like.
Or I hate when they make Casca black.
Yeah, or if they have to like well, that's also because the first anime fucked it up, making her way too tan or way like literally just dark skinned.
And she has Eurocentric features, like she could be Albanian or Southern Italian or Spanish.
Yeah, they I don't know why like just like black nerds are always just like, or like they have to make like a big thing. They're always just like fighting games.
Wait, what?
They're like really big into fighting games because I think because like fighting games they kind of like or I think the main thing with like their connection with anime is that that the Japanese have like an appreciation for hip hop, or at least like the 90s era of hip hop. So there's like a lot of fighting game soundtracks that kind of have like that hip hop feel, or at least in the music. So they always feel like some deep connection, or like obviously again with Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is probably the best example because they have to take the story of Dragon Ball to make it like a black story somehow in their head. So, but that's just a thing that I dislike. But like Hispanic nerds, I feel like they don't have all that baggage. They're just like, yeah, I like that because like,
cool.
Yeah, because it's cool. And they're like, oh yeah, Miguel's whatever. But like, I really like Peter, bro. Peter's where it's at. But I feel like, again, with me is like the reason why I'm probably like such a nerd or a fanboy, whatever the fuck you want to call it, was because when I was a kid, I didn't have like access to everything. Like as a kid, I was like, oh dude, like the comics, they look crazy, bro. The comics, and the only thing I had to reference is like these images I saw in Google Images when I would type in like
Spider-Man.
I would type in like, I don't know, like new. I'll type in like New 52 Nightwing and I would see this and I was like, bro, dude, that looks crazy. Dude, Nightwing's red, bro. And like when I found out about Nightwing, like just the idea of Nightwing, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like,
yeah, I know, that was me too. Like with Carnage, when I found out Carnage was just like red Venom, I'm like, whoa, are you fucking serious? That's crazy.
Like, yeah, just like
even as a kid, like I you know why I liked Daredevil as a kid?
Why?
Just because he looked like the devil. That's the only reason why I like Daredevil as a kid. I'm like, wow, he looks pretty cool. And then that's when the fuck is that guy's name? Ben Shapiro. Ben Affleck. There you go. When he played Daredevil, like, because I think I had a Daredevil toy. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And then like Daredevil was like edgy because the movie it played into that thing we just mentioned earlier. You said the male rage. What'd you say? Like the edgy. Like the edgy 2000s.
Male rage.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a part of that era, so I was like, wow, that's so cool. And it's like, when you're a broke nigga, like...
The only thing you have is, like, these images and, like, few YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And then you don't even...
that one millennial uncle that, like...
Yeah. And you don't even know how to, like, pirate or anything. And, like I would, like, the few times, like, when I was, like... I don't know, I'll probably be, like 11 or 12 or something like that. Right when I was going to start getting, like, money to, like, a little bit spend on, like, shit I liked... Mm-hmm. I would go to in the few times I would go to the comic store, I was like, bro, this is all crazy and everything. Because this is all shit I was looking at. Now, all the fans, if you read New 52 comics back in the day, all the fans were like, nah, this sucks and everything. But just looking at them, I was like, oh, dude, this is crazy. All these fucking DC characters, this shit look crazy. Even, like, the few comics that I would get, because I remember one time for my birthday, I went to Toys R Us, or my dad took me to Toys R Us. And they had comics, like the new comics, they would have them, but it was only like...
Oh, I forgot about that. I forgot they sold comics at Toys R Us.
It was only like the new like Marvel and DC, and it was like very limited. It was basically like only Justice League, Teen Titans, Spider-Man, like the bare minimum, not like everything. But I got like this one. I don't know if you were there or not, if you're in class or if you're in school at the time. But there's one, like I had like one issue Justice League and one issue Teen Titans, and I beat the fuck out of those comics because those are the only ones I had. But that's how it was like, and so that's why I feel like I'm the way I am now, because I didn't have like, even if someone just gave me like some like I don't know, like a stack of like 20 comics, I would have probably been like, okay, I'm Gucci. I got all I need. But then obviously you want to get more into it. Now I had the same thing with Star Wars. Star Wars, the only things I really had were me. Like you, and then like I don't know, probably like the books or something like that.
Guide? I want to talk about that. Not right now.
Yeah, it's
I'll go get it.
It's in that shelf right there. It's like right in the corner. Clone Wars. Now, when I started being familiar with Star Wars, it was when the Clone Wars was coming out, and again, it was the same thing when I was a kid. It was like I only really had access to like the images I saw on the internet. I didn't even have cable. If I did have cable, then I probably didn't know when the show was coming out. It's like right in the corner in the middle shelf. So it was not even these ones. It was like the junior novels.
Oh, dude.
It was like one of these books, I think.
Yeah, it was that one. Cause I remember I had that book. Scroll up, and there's another one. That one too. Is that a book or am I retarded?
Yeah, I think that's a novelization of the movie.
Yeah. Dude, it's such a throwback. And I remember I was so brainwashed by like the edgy 2000s, like the fiery red and the deep blues of episode 3. I hated this fucking font. I hated the way it looked.
The font like this?
Yeah, like it's how like you know what I mean? Like when you look at like the aesthetics of like episode 3, it's like deep red and the blacks and the deep reds, the deep blues and all that. And I didn't like.
So you didn't like the art style?
Yeah, I didn't like the art style. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, either like I think I watched some of the show at some point, but I didn't. There was a large era for me. I think it started thanks to Obama. Like we didn't have cable, so I think that was when like that.
You also have a lot of siblings too.
Oh yeah, and also that. So when we did have cable, it was like I don't even know if I could even get on Cartoon Network. Like Cartoon Network was like the spot, but it was like half the time I was like I can't even get into Cartoon Network because everyone wants to watch fucking iCarly or something. So all of my like I think tastes were only not like female centric, but they're more like co-ed experiences. But then in my head it was always brewing like, bro, like this Star Wars shit, Spider-Man or whatever, I needed to get into that shit eventually. But yeah, no, I think I had like some of these books, these like junior novel books. I don't know, somehow I got it, but it was like I had that specific book. And you know what's cool about those books? When you go like to the middle, they have like the like the little pages and everything. Yeah, but I can't remember which exact one I had, but I would like read them. It was like a choose your own adventure one. That's what it was. Yeah, it was this one. You know, it take time for it to load. But yeah, these were the ones that I had, and I would like read them, but it was like I couldn't understand like almost like anything in it because I wasn't like. Oh, you weren't tapped into the lore. I wasn't tapped into like the lore or anything. I just saw like, oh, these guys, they look cool and everything. Yeah, so that was my initial experience with Star Wars. And then somewhere around like 2013 when the unfortunate event happened. Was it 2013? No, 2012. At the end of 2012, it was November of 2012, I believe. Isn't that crazy? I still remember that. Yeah. Also, I remember when when George Lucas wanted to have his foundation or whatever, or his museum in Chicago.
Yeah. Oh, remember that?
Yeah. And then out of nowhere they go like, oh no, he can't have it. I think I told this before. I still think the reason why they canceled that was because there's, I don't know, some like,
it's funny because
like interference, some like guy wasn't getting paid enough.
I think I still have the Chicago Tribune announcement, the newspaper.
Yeah.
My family's full of fucking boomers. They still read the newspaper, but and they were definitely reading it back then. And yeah, I had the Chicago Tribune announcement of, because it was like a cool ass like Darth Vader fucking. It could be Chicago sometimes too. Oh
Let's
my
see.
god.
Yeah, because this thing was this announced 20.
It was announced in, it might have been 2011 or 2010.
2016. No, this is when they said they abandoned it. So yeah. So they announced it in like November 2014 that this was, dude.
No fucking way. It was before that. It had to have been before that, because they were gonna do it in the Field Museum.
I don't know, but again, like, bro, this was like, I mean, let me see what this is in. Bro, this is what they wanted to put in Chicago. That for some reason, I still think it was some like not mob, but you know, some some
one
like
of those guys. Hey,
some like what's like the contractor bullshit.
I think, Mr. George, I don't want to put it in the Darth Vader.
Cause I think I was looking at this like it was fortunate that made decision to leave Chicago rather than Luco. Yeah, because it was like the place that they wanted it at they couldn't have it there because I don't know, someone else, like, it wasn't, because I think they gave it there. I'm sticking out of my ass. You could just look it up yourself, but I think they wanted it out in like a parking lot, but like the parking lot was like owned by the park district, something like that. I don't know. It was so dumb. And it's funny because then we still have the Obama Museum and it's still being made and everything. It's like, do you want the Obama Museum here, or do you want the George Lucas Museum here? Imagine how much, like, we're talking, because as Chicago people, you know, we have a debt problem right now. Imagine how much the debt problem would have been fixed if we had the George Lucas Museum here.
That's a deep cut. That's a deep
For
fucking
real.
cut.
Like, come on, man. Yeah. So around that time when Lucas sold Star Wars, that's when everything came brewing up again, and then the news came out of J.J. Abrams directing Star Wars, and then I remember my mom told me, like, when, like, the first announcement video where it was like J.J. Abrams was on the set and everything. And I was going, and they're like on practical sets and everything. So I was like, "Oh, dude, this looks crazy." And so when the movies were about to come out, I only watched the original trilogy, because I think on the internet I was more persuaded, because that's also the other thing I had. I didn't have I wouldn't watch the stuff like the shows myself, because it's like, bro, like how am I gonna watch like, my parents don't have money. How am I gonna watch anything? But we did have YouTube, but so I would get all my like, not, I won't say like my opinions, but I would get like the nerd culture kind of like infused into me by watching like videos of people like talking about movies and everything. But I would say at this time I was already more like, I think I got more tapped into anime, because funny enough, like watching anime online.
It's but anime, correct me if I'm wrong, it's always been like a cheaper alternative to like traditional Western media.
What are you talking about, like watching wise?
Yeah, like just having access to watch anime.
Well, that's what I was gonna get. I was about to say that watching anime was easier than watching like a
Star Wars or Clone Wars.
Yeah, then, because obviously if you are obviously not through like the right methods per se, but
what are you alluding to exactly?
Is that I could go and I could go on Google and I could type in watch fairy tale anime episode 1 online to Google, and I could get a site to watch it. It was a lot more easier than
Kiss Anime
than finding. Bruh.
Well, I don't know if you use that one or not. That's what I used to use.
I don't use it anymore. I used it when I was a kid because I didn't know any better. But now, you know, there's finer ways to get your fix. your anime fix. But as a kid, I guess I started leaning more toward anime once I had the ability to enjoy stuff on my own instead of relying on the boomer box, aka the TV. Yeah, so when the sequel movies were gonna come out, I only watched the original movies because when I was on the internet, the opinions that all the internet critiques were saying was that this new movie is gonna be good because it feels more like the original movies and not like the prequels. And then the opinion in my head became that these are the only movies you need to watch, and that ended up kind of being true. Like the sequel trilogy doesn't really like acknowledge I know you said there's like one thing that they acknowledge.
Yeah. In episode 7, when they go to like the little bar.
Yeah.
When they go see the little orange bitch, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck her name is, Maz Kanata, I think that's her fucking name. I don't know. There's like a Mandalorian flag.
Yeah, but that was really it. From what I've
Yeah,
seen.
well, you have to be like a real like.
But story wise, the sequel trilogies, because I found this out like very recently, that J.J. Abrams was selected basically because he wanted to make something that fit more, or that they think fit more in line with the sequel movies. So that's.
You mean the original trilogy?
Oh my gosh, bro! I keep on saying that, bro. the
right,
sequels,
we're done.
The sequels fit more in line with the original trilogy. But yeah, so
they completely ignore, not completely ignore, but they pretty much ignore the prequels.
Yeah, or they don't really think that the story that happened in the prequels could ever like pertain to the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, and then it's funny because not just in the Legends continuity, but also in the George Lucas's plan for the sequel trilogy, there was callbacks to a lot of callbacks. Darth Maul was supposed to be the main villain of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, that's why they brought him back in Clone Wars, I believe, because they knew that eventually he was gonna play a part in the sequel trilogies. But then we get these sequel movies have nothing to do with it.
And it's funny because whether you want to use George Luke, I want to talk with my hands, right? Whether you want to use, let's say, George Lucas's plan or the Legends continuity, right, which is the Heir to the Empire, right, or any of the other comics or novels that were written after, right, or the current one. Fuck, I don't know what I was gonna say. I lost my train of thought. But they were gonna involve. Yeah, I remember they were gonna involve a lot of prequel shit. Because I forgot what I was gonna say. I remember what I was gonna say now. What I was gonna say was that from, let's say, what came first? Real quick before I say what I'm gonna say, what came first, the New Jedi Order or the New Republic in the Legends continuity?
Okay. Oh my gosh, how do I work this? Wikipedia. What's a new?
Just look up Legends timeline.
I thought you were talking about in release order.
No, I'm talking about no. I'm talking about like in continuity.
The New Republic.
Look up Star Wars Legends timeline.
I have it right here, bro. Chill, bro. I have it right here.
Oh shit! I forgot. Do we have a Star Wars fan over here?
No, I just buy all the books. I don't read them.
Okay.
All right, this is actually like the only Star Wars book that I've read like front to back. I bought all like some of them, at least some of the prequel things, because that's what I want to get into eventually. But this is the one that like is a good companion to the prequel trilogy.
So yeah, just look up the timeline.
I feel like I'm like uncovering like
the Dead Sea Scrolls.
So what, New Republic?
Yeah. Let me see this shit. So, okay, the point that I'm trying to make is that the time between the New Jedi Order and the Phantom Menace spans probably like 40-50 years. So it's like That's the point. I like how it took like 5 minutes just to make a fucking small point. But the time between, I couldn't remember if New Jedi Order or New Republic came out first, or what time, which came first. So, in the time between Phantom Menace and New Jedi Order, it's like it spans, let's just say 50, 60 years. That's not a lot of fucking time, dude. Like, we're still affected by a lot of the decisions that were made after World War II, you know what I mean? And that was 80 years ago, you know what I mean? We're still very much affected by that, right? But why, like, how could you completely just like ignore, you know what I mean? Like, I could see, like, okay, if they did like a 100, 200 year time skip, that would make sense to ignore the sequels. But like, no, dude, like, you literally, like, the time between Rise of Skywalker and Phantom Menace is probably like 50 fucking years. You know what I mean? So it's like, how are you gonna completely just skip over that?
Well, it's very obvious.
Well, it's obvious why, because they were trying to just repackage the fucking original
it's
trilogy.
not even that. It was that.
But they repackaged it. That's all it fucking was, dude. They just wanted to repackage the original trilogy to make all these fucking Protestants and atheists happy, right? And then, but instead of having like like an Aryan king, they have some like mid bitch in POCs. I'm sorry, okay? I had to let it out, dude. I'm passionate about Star Wars. I fucking love Star Wars, dude. Disney literally fucking raped my childhood.
But yeah, so it was obvious once you get the whole picture. I didn't get the whole picture when I watched only the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you only watch the original trilogy, then watching episode 7 did feel like, oh well, it's kind of the same thing. So it's a good thing. It's good that these things are similar. But then around like episode 7. Because again, I was so blind. I was blind to the prequel thing because my assumption was just that the prequels were flawed, bad movies, and that the Clone Wars TV show fixed all the problems. So, if anything, my thing was, eventually I'll just get into the Clone Wars eventually. But then I think the tide started shifting. I think one of the main things, I always talk about this, with Gen Z, is that they have to like enjoy things as memes before they legitimately like them. And I think one of the things that changed the perception of the prequel trilogy is when people started making prequel memes. I think it was like a whole like subreddit and like accounts that were made around this time. It literally just called like prequel memes. And what they would do, they would just are you familiar with this prequel memes?
Yeah. There was one I used to follow called Sith memes, and they made some good ass fucking prequel memes.
Yeah, so these were like, so these memes were they took like obviously like stuff from the prequels, but they would like transform them into like funny memes. And I think like the like prequel memes, I don't know if I'm the first one to say that. I feel like having like these memes like
warm people up to the prequels.
Yeah, they started warming people up to the prequels. So eventually, I think, was this around COVID? I can't even tell. Eventually, I asked you like, hey, can you give me the prequels, because I want to see them because they actually look kind of cool. Because also around that time, social media and everything started, having a better perception of the prequels because the sequel trilogy was bad.
When episode 9 came out, nobody clapped. Did I tell you that?
No.
Yeah, nobody clapped at the end of that movie. Or episode 8.
I think episode 8 was, I think, the turning point. Mm-hmm. And also, all like the culture war stuff. We went into that in our Disney episode. I feel like that the sequels kind of destroyed, even Disney in general, kind of like almost red pilled a generation of people because of how bad.
Because during the Obama administration, we were fucked up, but we had Breaking Bad.
We had
the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, we had
Call of Duty. Call of Duty was at its fucking height.
We still had
Assassin's Creed.
We still had George Lucas occupied Star Wars, aka GOSW, at that time. So it was still like that. Even that's why like buying merch and everything. Because I went to the store or I've been going to the like the toy section at Target. I've been doing it a lot frequently. It's called Growing Up. I don't know if you guys know that. But I always look at the Star Wars section and it sucks.
It does.
It's like it's always just like, oh, okay, a Vader helmet, and then
some like shitty dildos. I mean lightsabers.
And the lightsabers, like they're of the new stuff, and I'm like, bro, like if I was a common sense capitalist, which I hope the people at Disney are, I thought they were common sense capitalists, they would at least be like, okay, no, we need to have the Vader lightsaber, deluxe version at all times. We need to have
Anakin's.
We need to have the Anakin lightsaber out at all times. We need to have Luke's lightsaber. We need to have stuff that reflects the best things of Star Wars at all times. Because it's like that. There's always a Spider-Man web shooter if you go into the Target store. There's always the Hulk gloves. So I'm like, why aren't you doing the highlights? What? Literally, I go into the I'm gonna look at Amazon. Let's see what. Actually, no, I don't want to do it because you guys are gonna look at my history.
But no, yeah, like the fucking lightsabers don't even resemble actual lightsaber. Like this is so fucking crazy, dude. Think about it. You know the fake lightsabers that they sell at like Dollar Tree and shit?
Yeah.
They're called laser swords, right? That's literally what Disney sells now.
Yeah, like there's even ones that like they just look they have like the I don't know if I'm gonna find it here. They have this one like how is this like acceptable?
Dude, it literally looks like a Star Wars themed sex toy.
Like how is this? How did they? And they're always gonna say, like, "Oh, well, it's because we want kids to get into Star Wars," and then they put fucking. They put rape in the Disney Plus show.
They put rape in Andor.
They're like, "Oh, we want to. These are for kids, little chud. You guys shouldn't be playing with these anyways." I'm like,
but see, here's the thing. Tell me that doesn't look like a Star Wars themed dildo.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Look. That's the tip. That's the fucking tip right there, gang.
And back in the day, because I even had like the little like the ones where you push it down and everything. Mm-hmm. I think I had it for like Mace Windu.
Yeah, I had Mace Windu.
I think I had Darth Vader's one too, but they were like actually like again, they're toys for kids, but at least I felt like, okay, I'm holding like an actual lightsaber, bro. Not just like some like toy. Like
me and my sister, we used to like have lightsaber battles. Like we'll go at it for hours, dude. Like just like, and then we would reenact all the scenes and shit. But dude, like Star Wars, like,
and then I think I showed you this when we went to Walmart. Like I think around Christmas, I literally showed you this out around Christmas, and this said this is Anakin's lightsaber, but it's like no, this is like some fucking.
That looks like a laser sword that you get at a fucking Dollar Tree.
Like,
but dude, like, okay, this is how you know it's bullshit, right? Because I think from their perspective is what you said. They probably think, well, they're kids. We want the lightsabers to look like something that a kid would play with, right? But I know it's bullshit because let me tell you why. Because as a kid, when there was like a lightsaber like craze that was going around for a minute. So I remember they had build your own lightsaber. Then when Star Wars: The Force Unleashed came out, basically the main character of the game switches sides, right?
Yeah.
And there was a lightsaber that would switch colors from like green, red to green. And then they had the build your own lightsaber. They had all the different lightsabers. They had Obi-Wan. I had Obi-Wan's. I had Anakin's. I had Luke when Luke got the green one. I had Mace Windu. I had Darth Vader. I even had a Count Dooku.
See how better these ones were. Holy, I'm gonna have to assume the reason why these ones are so bad now is because I don't know. There's like Karens that think that that they might actually poke someone's eye out or something like that. But I'm like, bro, come on.
What's the same thing like when Karens would freak out about God, I had those ones, dude. They had the clip that you could put on your belt.
Yeah, literally, like these ones were way more fucking solid, and they actually resembled like
lightsabers.
Obviously, the clip isn't like canon. The clip isn't canon, but dude, go to this one. That's the exact one that I had.
That's the one that lights up too. And then it was like
spring loaded. That's crazy. Yeah, the one I had.
I remember because I think there was some controversy. During this time, there would be like all these headlines be like, did you know that your kid can get molested if he walks around with a lightsaber? And I think there was like an incident where like there was like those like crazy headline of like some kid popping his eye out with the lightsaber. I had that one.
Bro, this one looks raw as fuck.
No, did I don't know if I had that one exactly. But I know I had a Count Dooku one.
Yeah, now the only place where you can get like either you get like these shitty looking these shitty looking Disney ones by Hasbro, or you have to go to theorysabers.com. This is not a sponsorship. You know how
he sells like $500 fucking lightsabers.
That's like the only option you have to get.
Okay, can you go look at his lightsabers real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry guys. This video isn't structured at all. We're just fucking glazing and shitting on Star Wars at the same time. Oh! What a fucking faggot. They got saber school. That's so gay. How far up your ass can you stick a fucking lightsaber in? Snips. Wait, does he have a license to sell this?
No, that's why he changes the names and everything. Cause the lightsaber, like obviously it's like how Dollar Tree has laser sword. Like you can't copyright this. I guess even if you do like the designs, it's like it's too evergreen. Maybe that's why Hasbro or like Disney, they have to make their like stupid ass ones and like have these designs that don't make any sense because Darth Maul didn't have this shit. Or I don't know, maybe he did in one of the shit.
Yeah, I think in the show. Oh, I had that game. Go to the Wii one. Yeah, remember when LucasArts would just like shit out like a bunch of like Star Wars games?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the games, Lightsaber Duel. That was actually a really fun one. They had like alternative colors to all the characters.
But maybe the reason why they have to do like these
I just wish they had like a naked Ahsoka in that one. That would have been cool.
You could if you mod your Wii. Probably just get the game files. Like I need to go back. Maybe the reason why they have these like really like gimmicky like this one, like this is not Anakin's fucking lightsaber. Like when I saw this at the Target, or Walmart, I was walking up to it and I saw Anakin. I was like, oh shit, maybe I might get this. I'm fucking retarded man child. Maybe I might get it. And then I see it, I'm like, what the? Maybe they have to do this because in copyright law, maybe like these designs are like too evergreen. Or not evergreen. They're too like synonymous that they can't. They have to make it different.
But the actual, I know the hilt is probably like metal and shit. But the saber itself, how does that work?
I don't know.
Is it already like? Is it like a push one or is it like or is it already out?
Let's see, Annie 3, the chosen one. You see where's the freaking video? This should have. Oh, it's right here. Oh yeah, let's see him. Imagine he started putting up his ass.
How far up his own ass do you think he could shove it?
And then you go like, oh, this is why this is on YouTube. All right, we get it. Oh wait. Okay, no, it's probably like it probably comes with like a pole. It probably comes with a pole that you need to like screw in or something.
Oh, that makes sense.
And then that's when you get the lights and everything. Ooh, I cried when Luke showed up in Mandalorian.
Can I say something?
What?
Nothing pisses me off more than seeing a grown ass man like really get into like Spider-Man or Star Wars or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's like, okay, pretend like we were at like a Halloween party, right?
Yeah.
And I went as Darth Vader, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm going around, your lack of faith disturbs me. Like, just really acting the part. Like, dude, grow up. You're fucking 30 years old. Oh,
did you see the video where there's after the we're gonna talk about this, by the way, after the airing of Revenge of the Sith that we went to, not the one we went to, but there was an airing and people had like a lightsaber fight after the movie ended? You didn't see that?
No.
Hold up, I'm gonna have to.
Was it? Please tell me it was kids. Or is it like guys getting drunk? I can respect that.
Well,
like I feel like if me and you got drunk as fuck and we started lightsaber fighting,
they're a lightsaber
pause,
fighting like in the theater.
Pause. We lightsaber fought with toys. That sounds even fucking worse. You know, we got lit and just started doing that. What does Zerka say? The reason I don't want to share anymore is because I become a father to a new baby girl. No fucking way.
Breaking news! Imagine there's some person just trying to watch like people talk about Star Wars and they're like, "Why are you guys talking about Zerka?" Oh yeah, here it is. Wait, what?
I mean, I don't want to be a dickhead and like just hate on people for having fun, but like, come on, dude, grow up. Dude, we're gonna get fucking copyrighted. Imagine the black guy pulls out a gun. Man, you hit me, bro, you gotta chill, man. That ain't cool. And then this is the part where he pulls out the gun.
He was like, "Nah, dude, this guy cooked out." He was like, I'll let Jamal win. I'll let Jamal win. It's okay, bro."
Yeah, but what if he stabbed him?
Oh my god, bro.
Oh my god. But no, yeah. Going back to the toys and shit. No, yeah. I feel like all the toys and all like all the marketing around Star Wars prior to Disney was like awesome, cool, extreme. You know what I mean? Like it was cool, it's esoteric.
I think it was because for Lucasfilms or whatever.
Also, here's one thing real quick. Let me stop you. Everything that came out before Disney bought Star Wars, but everything that came out that was Star Wars had to be filtered through George Lucas. Even something like Lego Star Wars had to be filtered through George Lucas.
Why? I think the reason why it was better back then is because the bane of our Lucasfilms or like whatever George Lucas's main money was Star Wars, or that was the Lucas brand or whatever. Lucasfilm owned Star Wars before, or Lucasfilm wasn't owned by Disney yet, so their whole existence was Star Wars basically. Like obviously they had other things they were doing, but Star Wars was the money grabber. It was the main product, so they always had to keep it fresh at all times because they always have to innovate. But now that Disney owns it, it's just one of the 5 things that they own or whatever 20 things that they own. So they're like, oh, I'm gonna focus on Star Wars. I'm gonna focus on Marvel.
We're gonna focus on the Black Mermaid,
on Disney. Yeah, Disney princesses. Oh no, we don't really care. It's just
the Israeli queen.
It's just one of our side things. But then when it was under George Lucas's thing, it was important to keep the brand like innovative and fresh at all times. And obviously it was the main pull, so they have to put more care into it, or at least like, because I think Hasbro did the old ones and now they still do it. So maybe now they're just saying whatever, just keep on doing whatever.
Shit. I mean, kids don't even play with toys anymore. They just go on their iPads.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the important things about Star Wars, is that like I think the reason why George Lucas was invested in the toys is because he did have ownership, or he had a higher amount of royalties for the toys compared to like any other like director. I think this was like when the first episode 4 came out, aka Star Wars to your millennials. He had like a deal where he had like a way higher royalties compared to like anyone else. So he actually had like a reason to make the toys like presentable and not just like
I just some shitty fucking
some shitty gimmick or whatever. That's why you know that thing when on Christmas like they didn't have enough toys, like Star Wars toys for everyone, so people had to buy like an empty box to eventually get the toys. This is when like the first movie came out.
What are you talking about? Star Wars
episode 4.
Okay.
They literally like just like in the 77, there was literally like a shortage of like how many for the supply and the demand. There's literally a shortage, so they literally told people like, hey, like we're gonna give you a box. Eventually, you're gonna get the toys, but right now we just have a shortage of it.
That's why they were all empty. I think they even talk about that in this. Hold on a second, because you just triggered like you just unlocked like a core fucking memory.
But I think that's why it was important for the toys at the time to be innovative.
Take this off?
Yeah, it's a freaking book I bought for $3 anyways. So, yeah.
This book is the reason why I was your encyclopedia.
True. And I remember it was funny. You told me like, "Oh, dude, you don't get maybe get like the later ones because you need the ones that are updated." I was like, "Bro, that one was made in 2005. I don't need anything past 2005."
The one that was updated in 2011. So that was before Disney acquisition.
True.
Yeah, because I remember somewhere in here, they have like the toys and shit. This was so cool, bro. Look. Where's the camera? Disney.
It's up here. By the way.
I know. Well, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna hold it. Disney took this from us. Disney fucking stole this from us.
Well, didn't George Lucas not like Mara Jade?
Fuck George. No, I'm just kidding. Imagine if we seen this in the movies. Give me a second. Where is it? There you go. That's when Chewie died.
Does the updated one have Darth Talon in it?
Darth Talon? Oh, you're talking about the red bitch?
I don't call women bitches, but yeah.
Yeah, this one has her. It has her, I think, like half naked too.
Damn. Anyways, what was I gonna say? So the main reason why we made this video, other than what's it called? It being May 4th, when we published this video, is because a couple days ago we went to go see Revenge of the Sith in theaters again because they did a reissue, and last year we saw the Phantom Menace in theaters as well. And for both of them, there was obviously we showed the clip before there where they had a lightsaber fight in the theater. So there was a very big
Looks so fucking gay.
I don't know, don't put my boy C-3PO like that, bro. But there was a very, I think that the Revenge of the Sith is gonna be considered like the highest grossing like reissue of a movie in history. Just this weekend, it's not the number one movie I think, but it's like the number one like reissue in all of history. But yeah, so the past couple of weeks, actually no, I think it was like last week, we decided, okay, we're gonna watch the prequels again so that we refresh our brain, even though we watched them last year.
I've probably, if you were to clock in the amount of times that I've seen the first 6 movies, it's probably like over 1,000 hours. Well, I didn't need the refresher. I just felt like we should have done it.
Well, it's like you're not gonna just watch the last one. Like, come on, you gotta watch the whole thing.
No, I usually watch Star Wars 3 probably like 3 times a year, 4 times a year. That's not. I'm not being like funny. I'm not trying to make a meme. I'm dead fucking serious. That and Scarface. On The Last Crusade.
I don't know. The Last Crusade that is pretty standalone, but to me, I feel like I need to watch like.
You want to experience George Lucas's. Sorry, I gotta use a different hand. You want to experience George Lucas's Star Wars.
What, did you have to use the other hand because you wipe with the other hand?
No, I jerk off with this hand.
Oh.
No, plus this hand's in the shot more because if I go like this, you can't see it.
Oh, but I want to watch all 3 of the movies back to back. Even though I watched them last year, and I watched them the I don't know did I can't remember if you really gave me those movies during COVID. Because again, those are the first times
during COVID.
I watched the prequel movies, and I did not have a negative opinion at all. If anything, I was like, I don't understand why people are shitting on these movies like that hard. But now I realize it's just because like millennials are cooked.
Well, millennials are retarded. They don't understand that the Star Wars, right? I'm gonna be pretentious. The Star Wars was trying to tell a story about the fall of man. Like, I mean, I'm gonna go on a tangent. I don't give a fuck. Star Wars is a story about. It's allegorical. It's allegorical. You know, it was meant to the first movies were to reflect the Vietnam War, right? You know, it was a hero's journey. It was a call to adventure, right? But there was still a story being told, and that story was the story of Anakin Skywalker and how he turned to the dark side, right? Like what it's basically like. I stole this from another YouTuber, So Uncivilized. It's he says basically like the story of Anakin is like if you took the Messiah and you handed him over to the devil, which was Emperor Palpatine, right? And that's really what it is, you know? Like when you look at the story of Anakin Skywalker, obviously he's like an allegory maybe for like Jesus, you know, or even for Satan too. You could even say he's an allegory for Satan.
But there's no ATSTs.
That's an AT-AT, my guy.
Okay, no, it's because there's this meme. I know you haven't seen them. Sorry to interrupt you. But I think I showed you Red Letter Media. They're the ones that like really created like the prequel hate. Because I told you they were like the first people to make like a long video being like, oh, the prequels suck. But okay, so I don't like I think their videos of the prequel trilogy are dumb, but when they made videos around the Disney movies, it was like the funniest thing ever. I'm sorry, but this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Hold up.
Hi, I'm Rich Minersky. I'm the Milwaukee City Building Inspector. I'm here to make sure that your licenses are valid and that this building is up to...
Fuck it. Let's just talk about Rogue One.
X-Wings!
Death Star!
Grand Moff Tarkin!
TIE Fighters. Mon Mothma's back.
Princess Leia!
Admiral Akbar!
No, that was somebody else. That was a different Mon Calamari.
Oh, I thought they cast the same actor and he just gained a bunch of
He's
weight
like a
between the
faggot.
last film and this one.
Oh, no, Admiral Akbar's not a real person.
Alderaan!
AT-AT Walkers! We go back to Yavin 4. Remember the Rebel base?
I clapped when I saw it.
I clapped when I saw Darth Vader.
ATSTs! ATSTs!
Lucasfilm logo. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, but no title crawl. Oh well.
I applauded it for being different.
It broke new ground.
Sorry, I need to replay that. Just,
Being different.
It broke new ground.
okay, so again, like I think their opinions on the prequels are cooked, but that video is funny. That's why I kept on saying ATST, because when he goes like ATST, this is funny.
Well,
so you don't.
I forgot. Oh, we were just talking about
You're just talking about
basically that the story of Anakin's a fucking good story. Okay, once I say more, it's a great fucking story about how one of the most famous fucking supervillains, right, in cinema history or just in the history of fucking storytelling, what made him become what he is, right? Why, why he became what he is, and why he even turned to the light side so quick. Because he basically turned like that in episode 6. See, that's what they don't want you to know. That's what they don't tell you. Is that, like, why would he just, like, and you know what Luke basically did to him in episode 6? He basically told him, this isn't you. That's basically what he fucking did.
Wow.
But when you see the prequel trilogy, you're like, oh wow, like he actually was a human person with feelings, who experienced love, who experienced hate, he experienced a range of emotions, dude. He wasn't just like this stoic, he wasn't just like a stoic Buddhist monk like the other Jedi were, right? Because obviously he got adopted into the what's it called? He got adopted into the Jedi Academy at a much later age, so he already had a relationship with his mother. He had feelings for Padme, right? So you see how and what made him who he was, and it's a story that people can relate to, right? It's a story that a lot of people could. Who the fuck could relate to Luke Skywalker? Oh, I grew up on a farm, and I started driving planes, and I blew up a Death Star. That's like the equivalent of like some kid that grew up in a fucking hillbilly town and then went to Afghanistan to kill fucking Muslims.
Well, I think in episode 4, he is the most relatable he is because he doesn't want to really be involved in the overall war. He just wants to literally just like, oh, I'm just gonna go to school or I'm gonna stay for the harvest season. That's it.
No, he wants to go to the academy with his friends.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was kind of misremembering it. Maybe I need Maybe I need to boot up the special editions, but
no, he wants to go be with his friends. He wants to get off the farm.
Yeah, but he's mostly like an indecisive young man in the 4th episode, and then he has to like harness his destiny. I don't know about the other two though. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I'm basically a radical prequelist.
Yeah, me too. I'm a prequel extremist. I won't commit acts of terror.
Because to me it's like, okay, like this it's cool and all, but it seems too. I don't know. Maybe the Star Wars designs of like the original trilogy. See, I got it right. It just seems too like generic to me, and I think that's mainly just because Disney has like overused those designs.
Yeah, because like Disney didn't even try to fucking make, like, when they made the New Order, like the New Order is basically just like, okay, this is like a history reference. It's basically like the Roman Empire and the Byzantine Empire. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? Like there's no originality to it. The stormtroopers. Okay, you could make the same argument for the clone troopers, right?
No, the clone troopers look way more like
they had more designs.
They had more camo. They looked like
they had camo. They had orange. They had red. They had they had a lot of cool designs. And then some of these clone troopers, like they would design their little outfit. You know what I mean? Like I think what's his name? Echo. I think Echo was a clone trooper from how the fuck do I remember this? I think Echo was from I think season 1 or season 2 of Clone Wars, and he had like a paint, like he had a hand painted on him.
This is what the sequel ones look like. If this thing's freaking loads, they literally just look like logo redesigns.
Yeah,
they look like they just like refined. They're like, well, if it's not broken, why we shouldn't fix it. So they just made everything look more like rounder or no, they did the more simplistic thing because they're like, oh yeah, the clone trooper designs do look kind of old, so we're just gonna change up a little bit to make it look a little modern. I'm like, nah, the clone troopers.
The clone troopers were like badass.
Yeah, the stormtroopers. Well, maybe that's like a story thing too, because I think George was eventually gonna say that like the stormtroopers in the sequels were not like all clones. I might be wrong though.
So,
but he was gonna say that eventually, like the clones kind of got phased out, and they did just start like hiring random people.
Yeah,
that's why they all suck.
And that's what it is. The one in the story, this fucking campaign for Battlefront 2, if I'm correct, I'm like 60% sure on that, is that the clone troopers eventually got phased out because they were causing too much issues for the Empire.
Yeah.
Because there's actually a mission. This is so cool. This is how cool Star Wars used to be back in the day. They would use like fantasies that you do with your toys that you can do in the game. So you have clone troopers versus stormtroopers versus droids, the battle droids. How is that not the coolest thing you've ever seen?
Bro, it looks like a video game, bro. This whole movie looks like a video game.
My wife's boyfriend tells me I can't watch the prequels.
That's another funny thing too. Is like all the things people complain about of the Star Wars prequels, they're compared to movies now. These movies are way more innovative, and they're way more like thought provoking, because they make you the thing about the prequel trilogy is that it makes you want to look more into philosophy, world history,
yeah, that's true.
Other movies, other languages, and then everything in what is the like sequel trilogies.
We have a Chinese bitch. I'm in love with a black guy. I'm in love with a black guy. Episode 9. We just friends. We just friends now. Thank you. Come again. Hurry up and buy. Happy ending. Finn didn't get no happy ending with her.
I was gonna say something way more like critiqueful.
No, go ahead, say it. But I have to like.
But it's because they always say like, oh, all the Disney haters are just racist. I mean, I don't really care. But if like we're trying to be like objective, we have to be like, well, all they did is that they just refried the pizza and they repackaged it to us differently, and they didn't really the only thing that all like the sequel trilogy really interacts with is the other three movies. That's really it. It doesn't really tell you to really go any farther than that, or to be any interested in anything farther than that. And even they don't even want you to. There's no, at least from what I understand, there's not really any good like side material for the sequel trilogies. Or
it doesn't inspire anything either. Did you ever walk out? Okay, like when you saw the OT the first time, did you feel inspired or no?
Yeah, because I was like, I liked at the end when like the little party and everything, and like and like Luke, like he was like walking out, like he was like drunk and he just wanted to like leave and everything. I like that. I like the little Ewoks.
Now how did you feel? I'm gonna ask you emotion based questions. How did you feel when you walked after you seen the prequel trilogy?
When I saw the prequel trilogy, I was just like, wow.
I want your emotion, just your emotions.
I was just like, wow, like that was a good, like it all makes sense now. It all wraps up everything in a tiny bow. It all makes sense. He did a good job explaining Anakin's fall. It makes me sympathize more with Anakin when I see him in Darth Vader. That's what I want to say. I didn't tell you this when we came out of it, but Revenge of the Sith, that like watching it in theaters is totally like crazy. It like changes everything.
It's a different experience.
It's a different experience. I'm hearing a bunch of people say that too. And one of the things that really changed my experience is when he actually puts on the Vader suit, Anakin,
and you
hear him talk,
yes,
like how he's been talking the whole entire trilogy, but you hear him in the James or Earl Jones, R.I.P. by the way. You hear him in that voice, and you're like, "Whoa, this is the same guy I've been with like all these three movies."
Bro.
And then you actually see him. I know it sounds corny that like, "Oh, that's like the one thing that's good out of these movies." But you're like, yeah, like we got to see him in the state from where he started, and then we see him to the point to like his lowest point ever.
Literally.
But then you can see that, okay, this guy, Hayden Christensen is Darth Vader with the James Earl Jones voice. You get to see that, and you hear the way he talks in Darth Vader now. It's totally.
But dude, what's so crazy when we're in the fucking theater and Do you remember, like, okay, do you remember when Padme is giving birth and then they're about to put the mask on Darth Vader?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know if you paid attention to this, but when they're about to put the mask on, you hear like the boom, boom. That's the heartbeat, right?
Yeah.
And then it stops.
No, I didn't hear that part.
And then it starts going. Once the mask goes on, it's going to do whoops, boom, boom. Well, you could feel, because it's obviously you're in a fucking theater. You could feel the sound. Like, oh, dude, it was the craziest experience ever. The fucking lightsaber fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
Like, just the theatrical experience is so fucking crazy, dude. I imagine if we were there back in 2005. No, we probably would have been gay, being like, it's not that good. It wasn't that great. But you know.
Well, because when I watched the prequel with you last year, my take was like, I was surprised how well the first two movies held up. But when I saw episode 3, I was like, okay, it's just kind of playing through the motions. Obviously, yeah, I like the lightsaber fight and everything, but it kind of just plays through the motions. And then, okay, so he betrays the Jedi, kills all of them. He fights Obi-Wan, and it just, okay, yeah, it's all falling into pieces. But I wasn't being cynical per se, but I was just like, okay, like this, in some regards, it is kind of like the least impressive one to me, because it's so it's not because it's bad, it's just that everything was falling into place. But then when I saw it in theaters again, or for the first time, I think it was a lot more emotional, mainly because it was like an opera, basically.
It was,
and it kind of felt like it should have been enjoyed in that format. That's like the best possible way to enjoy it, compared to watching it on like a shitty projector in a white wall. But yeah, when's Attack of the Clones? When's that 30th anniversary? Is it coming out? Like, I think I looked up the day. I think it's like 27. But I think there was an anniversary like a few years back, but I don't think they played it. Cause I remember that like 3 years ago, I think they played Return of the Jedi. I remember that because that's when we started going to like movie theaters on the reg. So I saw that, oh yeah, they're playing Return of the Jedi. So maybe I might want, but I'm like, nah, I don't want to rewatch them again.
I think us going to the theater on the reg is what kind of inspired me to want to do YouTube again. Cause like, bro, like, we can't just watch fucking movies, and you can't just enjoy. You gotta monetize it, right? We're not monetizing shit, but still,
we just gotta make views.
Yeah, but no, yeah, the experience of watching the prequels, it's a fucking opera, dude. But episode 3, right? Episode 3 has so much symbology in it. Like, you ever seen the Michelangelo painting of Satan when he's like this?
Yeah.
Right. He's like crying. You see that when he looks out into the distance when he's on Mustafar, because okay, think about it like this. This nigga, from the moment that he killed fucking Mace Windu, look up Anakin Satan. They do like a side by side of it.
What?
Satin? You typed in Satin.
I thought this was a twink for a minute.
Oh my god. Yeah, look at that. Look at the symbology right there.
This is something that like minorities would post on like their Instagram story and Instagram post and thinks it goes hard.
Yeah, that's something I've done before. Yeah, that's real art. That's Italian Renaissance art. But and then there's a scene where Anakin and Obi-Wan, when they grab each other's arms like that, and there's all like the lava that comes shooting up. That was like a callback to the Lion King. There's a few other ones. I mean,
the part where he kills all or he does all the hits, isn't that Godfather? I think George Lucas said that.
Yeah, that could have been God. But here's another thing.
It's because when he got initiated by Palpatine and then he killed everyone. That's like when the baptism in Godfather, and then all the hits happen. I think that's what he said.
Basically, yeah, that's great. And here's another cool thing, dude. When you look at Palpatine, when Palpatine goes to save Anakin on Mustafar, if you pay attention, if you actually know about real art, Renaissance art, there's this old painting of the Virgin Mary.
Yeah.
The Virgin Mary, where she's holding Jesus Christ in her arms, and I guess I guess George Lucas did like a perverted, not like perverted to like blaspheme Christ, but to like do like a perverted version of Satan holding, a Messiah basically.
Well, I like how I type in Star Wars Renaissance art, and I think I just got a bunch of AI slop. Yeah.
But yes, it's very deep, and then just like the whole idea of Mustafar being this hellish magma, it's just a hellish landscape. It's a reflection of Dante's Inferno, just hell. You know what I mean? It's the fall of man. Anakin died on Mustafar, and he came back as Darth Vader. But when he's crying in that photo right there, that's like all the fucking emotions just fucking hit him right there. All right, like 20 fucking years of just getting fucking ass raped by the Jedi just fucking hits him right there. He lost his mom. He's worried about his wife. He can't even be happy with his wife because he has to live in secrecy. And then he killed, like when he killed Mace Windu, right? From that moment forward, it was just crazy. So everything right there just
bro. He's a bad actor, bro. He shouldn't have been Anakin.
Oh, yeah, he should have had that other fucking pedophile as what was his name, Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah,
bro, he's a bad actor, bro.
But yeah, you see him go through the range of emotions. And here's another thing, going back to the bad actor thing. Dude, that was the fucking point.
The point wasn't to talk like 2002 American.
Oh, destroying the death. What did Luke Skywalker say in episode 4? Like, the chain reactor. That's not any harder than chasing Bantha in the wilderness, whatever the fuck he said.
Like, yeah, that's why I kind of I don't know if this is blasphemy, but I don't like Luke. I kind of don't like Luke when he's like that. I don't like Luke compared to Anakin. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Or not hard to explain, but just like I do understand why. 'Cause I do think George Lucas he made he made the movies at the right time in the right period. Because they do kind of reflect the technology that was in the original trilogy does reflect that era, and then the technology in the prequel trilogy does reflect it. But I don't, dude. I'm honestly, I told you this before. If after episode 3 came out, if George Lucas just said like, okay, no, I still got it in me, for another decade, I'm gonna reshoot all of episode 4 to 6, new actors, all the technology, new technology. I'm basically gonna do the equivalent of when they remaster a game and they give all the quality of life improvements. I'm gonna do that. I would have been like, yeah, like I want it to be more linear. I would be one of those guys. I know all these people are like, oh, like the original trilogies, where is it at?
I do think that you should. I do think that the Star Wars the 6, right? I do think that they should be watched OT and then prequel.
That's haram.
It's not haram. That's
haram.
No, it's
why?
Because
they're called episode 1. Dude, they're called episodes for a reason.
I know they're called episodes for a reason, but the reason why I like watching it like that OT.
Well, then how do you know? How do you know that?
Because then you're left with the curiosity, like who's Anakin? What are the Clone Wars? Who was Obi-Wan? Who's Ben? Who the fuck is Ben Kenobi? Where does he come from? You're left with all.
When you
questions.
watch episode 6, you know that you don't know if Luke's gonna fall to the dark side. If you watch it in order, it's still up in the air.
Well, that's how I watched it as a kid. So.
Do you do anything else out of order? Do you read the Bible out of order?
Yes, I do. And I read it a lot faster. And I read the first time I read it, I read it front to back. But after that, no, I just read whatever the fuck I want. And I read it fast. That's how I know scripture so fucking well. I read actual important stuff. My bad. Sorry.
But do you read it the right way?
The right way.
It's called episodes for a reason. It's episode 1, episode 2,
Okay,
episode
then
3,
explain to
episode
me how,
4.
if you want to talk about the Bible, Maccabees is placed between Chronicles and fucking the Book of Kings, but then in the other Bibles, it's placed between the prophets and the New Testament. And in some Bibles, they have all the apocryphal books in the middle.
Well, the thing is that you got to subscribe to a thought, and what you're subscribing to right now is a thought that you should watch in production order.
The only thing that I agree with these prequel haters, I do think you should watch the OT because it leaves you with the curiosity of, well, what's all this shit that they're talking about?
That is like a minute thing compared to watching in order and experiencing the whole journey and watching it at episode 6, and you don't have full confidence that when you watch all the previous movies, you don't have the full confidence that Luke will do the right thing because you know everything that happened before. All right, that's why it was originally called Revenge of the Jedi. All right, because he wanted the suspense of knowing if Luke was going to do the right thing. That's literally the main crux of my argument. No, but you're gonna see the old things. No, just take it at face value. That's why they're called episodes. Do you start Berserk at Black Swordsman?
I started with the Golden Age arc. I started with the Golden Age.
Well, that's my fault because I wanted to.
Listen. I'm not one of the look. It's fine if you want to watch.
Do you start Dragon Ball with?
I started with Dragon Ball Z Kai. I didn't start with Dragon Ball fucking the original.
So you don't start with the Saiyan arc, or you start with the Saiyan arc. You don't start with the adventure to get the Dragon Ball.
No,
that's what I did.
Sorry.
You start with the episodes to get the Dragon Ball.
I guess.
Then you get into the Red Ribbon arc.
Yeah. Okay. And I have an 8-inch penis. I also think that the original trilogy is like thematically different than.
Yeah, because the thing is, with the prequel trilogy, it was all directed by George Lucas. The original trilogy was not all directed by George Lucas. It was directed by, I don't know his other name is that for episode 5, and then the other guy. So it doesn't have the full, authentic George Lucas vision. There's another reason why I would have rather preferred that George Lucas just straight out remake episode 4 to 6 in his vision, because he's the only one who has all the vision, who has the pure vision for Star Wars. And that's why I don't like episode 5 and 6 as much, because it not directed by George Lucas. That's just how it is.
No, I get you. No, I mean, I like his. I mean,
4 is the best one of the original trilogy. I do like. To me, right now, episode 5 is like the most Reddit, the most Reddit one. I probably rank it the least. I don't know. I probably need to rewatch it too. But then episode 6, I do it a little higher, just kind of like the Ewoks.
How did the Ewoks beat the Stormtroopers?
And then that's the other thing.
Why don't people ever talk about that?
That's the other thing I like. Well, obviously, it's like, how did the Viet Cong defeat all those jacked-based soldiers?
Well, because they use fucking guerrilla warfare.
That's the answer. That's the answer. But yeah, so another thing, like even in episode 3, like you see all the Wookiees, and there's like a bunch of Wookiees. So it's like, yeah, that's why I like the original, the prequels more, because there isn't anything that happens in those movies that doesn't seem like a compromise. And in episode 6, and I assume episode 5, there were a bunch of compromises made for the production, and so you could tell that it wasn't fully like expanding onto George Lucas's vision of the movies. So that's why I do really think, honestly, like a lot of people, they if they had a time machine, they would kill baby Hitler. What I would do, I would go back just like 20 years, and I would just be like, yeah, George, I really like this movie. Just do episode 4. I know you made the special edition, just do episode 4, remake it right away. Because if you don't, a lot of other bad things are gonna happen with Star Wars, and you don't want to see them happen. But yeah, that's it. Happy May 4th. May the Force be with you. I don't have a lightsaber, or we don't have anything else to.
No, I have one more thing that I wanted to say. No, I was gonna say I'm trying to make it short. I think the reason why a lot of prequel haters hate the prequels is because you know how they complain about the midichlorians and all that shit. I think what it is that I don't know if I said this in the other video, but I'm just gonna repeat it. Is that they don't have actual faith. Like they don't have real faith. Like,
yeah, because that era, as much as it also had the rage era, it also had the denying God era, the being atheist era, being thinking that not having any sort of faith in anything is cool era, and also kind of like denying the Father. And part of denying the fathers is the thing about it is hating George Lucas.
Yeah,
that's why all these people, they have a problem with George Lucas's vision, because it's like hating your dad. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah. That's what it is. Yeah, because I was gonna get deeper because so the midichlorians ruined everything, right? No, they didn't, right? Because if you understand the history of science was, I don't want to say created, but I'll say created by Christians, right? Because they wanted to figure out, okay, well, if nature is governed by laws, there must be a lawgiver, and that lawgiver is God the Father, right? So, because the people say science contradicts Christianity, religion, it contradicts other religions, doesn't contradict our religion, right? But where I was going to go with that is that because the midichlorians kind of demystified the Force, it shatters their fucking perception of Star Wars, because they don't have a real life perception of God, right?
Yeah.
So they need to live vicariously through Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, because Luke, everything that happens in the original trilogy, he takes it at face value, doesn't really expand onto anything, and that's because George Lucas did it on purpose, because he knew that the original trilogy was the most palatable entry, and that was the one that was going to warm people up to the story he was going to tell. But then when the prequel trilogy came out, he decided to explain everything, and the problem with explaining everything is that people for 20 years had their thoughts about what Star Wars was, and it's like reading the other, I don't mean to do that, the generic take, but it's like, okay, reading the Old Testament, or reading the New Testament your whole entire life, and then you get to the Old Testament, and let's say theoretically you don't like that what was the thing, or no, you don't like that, like he what was it Isaac, when he made him kill his kid.
Abraham, yeah.
Abraham. It's like saying you don't like that, but and then you don't expand on like why you don't like that. You just like, I don't like it. You just take that at face value. It's kind of the same thing. Which again, this is why the same thing is like part of that rage era,
anti-establishment,
it wasn't anti-establishment. It was just anti what was before. That's really what it was, and that's what we're kind of in the same loop again, because we're shitting on all these millennials that didn't like Star Wars, or the prequel trilogy, and then right now we're also shitting on boomers, we're shitting on millennials for all their past mistakes.
Ruined everything. That's why.
Yeah, the thing is that we talk about how boomers, they had everything and they did nothing with it. Now millennials, or I don't know, maybe late stage, or zillennials, whatever you want to call it, who had those movies, they didn't appreciate the greatness. So when they saw these great movies, great entertainment coming out, instead of talking about it, they did the dumb thing and they criticized George Lucas's movies. And now George Lucas, he was like, oh yeah, I don't want to make these movies anymore. I'm just gonna sell it off to Disney, because these people like Disney.
Even Crystal Skull was fucking good.
But it had aliens in it, and aliens are not the same thing for some reason.
No, again, it's like I said, they don't have any. They don't have a real life perception of. I mean, they don't have any kind of faith. They don't believe in anything, so they need to live vicariously through. They need to live vicariously through Luke Skywalker, because they don't have faith in anything. And that's what it is. Because I was actually watching a YouTube video about like basically how like a lot of sci-fi movies are very religious, right? Like maybe they don't have a technical religion, but they're very religious. Do you know what I mean? Dune, Mickey 17 was kind of had religious elements to it, right? Right?
Do you remember any?
No, but I just remember the shit you told me. What's another one? I think Star Trek. Star Trek has some religious elements in it, right?
I don't know. It's mainly, it's if anything, it's kind of like Manifest Destiny, Utopia, from what I understand. It's all about creating
but
utopia.
Manifest Destiny is rooted in Christianity, Lord of the Rings, all this stuff, like all this shit, like it has religious elements to it. So you have to live vicariously through these characters because you don't have any real faith yourself. Because if you did, you would like the prequel trilogy.
Yeah, that's why to me, I forgot to mention, if I had to like rank my top, this is my top 3 ones. Top 3 like sci-fi franchises. Number 1 would be the Ultra series, Ultraman. If you don't know, this series was actually at least the original entries, initial entries. I don't want to go too deep, but Catholic, kind of Catholic, a little bit Christian, whatever you want to call it. It was like basically the Ultra series, Ultraman, whatever you want to call it, is like the closest the Japanese have gotten to comprehending Christianity, I think, because they still can't get it. They're still into that Shinto stuff. But yeah, so number 1, Ultra series. Number 2, Mobile Suit Gundam, and then number 3 is Star Wars. But me, I don't know, because I like most of all the Ultra series in Gundam, at least almost all of Gundam. But like the Star Wars, I'm mainly just the prequels. That's yeah, that's the ranking. And I think the reason why I do like all of them is that they obviously like people. I fucking hate sci-fi that's like, especially the modern ones that are just like nihilistic, like or at least
Yeah,
just
like Mission X, I think that's what it was called.
Ex Machina.
Ex Machina. I don't know why the fuck.
Or like
I don't know why I called it that.
Black Mirror. I haven't seen it. I just hate the premise of it, where they just take like these things that are happening now, and they try to make like the most darkest fucking.
It'll be like they'll do like an allegory for Donald Trump, and he's like a rapist.
Or they try to take like the most like dark fucking tone in
Blade Runner. I think the Blade Runner, that's sci-fi, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I like 2049.
Sid Mead. You might as well say that now. What's your thing about how is Blade Runner 2099 2049 better than
that is a
Star
video
Wars
idea that I have for the future.
Say it real quick because it might never come out.
Okay, so I still have notes. I'm actually still working on that, believe it or not. When it'll come out, I don't know. You know how Zirko says he's gonna have his documentary?
Yeah,
it's like that. I feel like Blade Runner 2049 is what the the sequel trilogy should have been. Esoteric, very deep, because the story of 2049 it's a deep story, right? It's about the plight of man, right? This dude thought he was the main character. He really wasn't the main character, but he still progressed the other main character's story, and he was still an important part of that person's story, right? And not just him. He wasn't just fighting for himself. He was fighting for the other replicants, right? That's what they call it.
Yeah. I think it was the best example of a director, like a new creative director entering someone else's previous work. But I think also Ridley Scott, like the executive produced it, but it was what's his name? The guy who did Dune. He directed the 2049 movie.
Oh, I didn't even know that. What the fuck? Now that makes me want to watch Dune even more. But no, yeah.
It was a good example of handing down the torch without
disrespecting
or like totally making something totally different.
But I think George Lucas has this thing. I think he has he's like esoteric in the way he tells his stories, right? It's deep, multifaceted, right? And that's what Blade Runner 2049 is, because again, a lot of these fucking retards, they're like, oh, why is the prequel so political? It doesn't make any sense. Like, well, Emperor Palpatine is not the kind of villain that's gonna hop into who's gonna drop into your fucking planet and say, we are taking over the universe. Like, no, he's like, no, he took advantage of the political system. He took advantage of the, kind of like in today's politics, right? Where, in Star Wars, you have the Republic and then you have the Separatists, right? The fucking Republic and the Separatists thought, I'm fighting for the right cause, right? But he's pulling the fucking strings, right? Because his plan was to fulfill some fucking satanic prophecy. Sith prophecy. What's the difference, right?
I saw someone say, oh my god, you're gonna hate this. So you know how like the Sith, they take on new names.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said it's kind of weird how the popes have to do that too. And
Well, the Sith are very Christian in their values. They're absolutists. We're absolutists.
do they meddle in the dark arts?
Possibly.
I felt like when he said that, when Palpatine was telling Anakin like I know the dark arts, I felt I was gonna go up to you and I'd be like, yeah, this is how you sound like to me when you start telling me about like black magic and everything. I was like, I don't know if I want to tap into that.
You must. What does he say? You must discover a more broad aspect of the Force, not just the dogmatic views of the Jedi. Use my knowledge. That's basically when I talk to you about esoteric shit.
Yeah, that's when I started telling you about like red pill stuff and like 2020 or whatever.
But no, but Blade Runner 2049 should have been what that basically should have been.
It was a better premise to like sequelizing a movie.
Yeah, basically, that's what it is. But you know, but I was saying, what I was saying about Star Wars the prequels is that it's like I said, it's very esoteric, right? You know, very deep, you know, multifaceted, right? You know, like I said, Palpatine took advantage of the political system, right? He controlled both sides of the narrative, right? And he took over. He was cunning. He schemed, and he did what the fuck he did, right? And I mean, how is that not the best fucking villain ever written in fucking history of everything? Took advantage of the political system. Took their fucking poster boy, made him turn to the dark side, right? And took over the entire fucking galaxy. He took the strongest Jedi, the strongest Force user that ever existed, and made him his bitch. He sodomized him, metaphorically speaking.
And he wasn't even that powerful.
Yeah, and he wasn't that powerful in the Force. He wasn't even.
It's like he had like stats and like everything, but he wasn't necessarily like good at everything.
Yeah, so like if you ranked everything out of like 10, he was like 7 on everything.
Yeah, but he was probably like 10 in charisma.
Yeah, but he okay. Mace Windu, he won. He won that fight.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: as a Force user, Yoda, he was on par with Yoda, and he probably would have gotten his ass kicked by Anakin, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't even that powerful. He was just a manipulator. He was the greatest manipulator that ever existed in Star Wars, right? And he took advantage of fucking everybody and everything. He is a fucking mastermind, right? The greatest villain ever written in storytelling history so far, besides Griffith.
Well, we don't know the end of his story.
Yeah, so you're right.
We don't know.
But no, yeah. So, like I said, it's a deeper story being told besides just what. That's basically what the sequel trilogy is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like I was telling Franklin. I was telling him, I'm like, when you actually try to pay attention to the dialogue, right? In the sequel trilogy, they're not saying anything. They're really not saying anything. They're just saying, trust in the Force. Use your feelings. Let the Force guide you. They're just saying Star Wars shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like the quotes that...
It's like they try to reverse engineer the original trilogy dialogue and think it makes sense.
Yeah,
you just repackage it.
You know what I mean? Like have you ever seen like a have you ever seen like a woman's podcast and they just throw fancy words around like
affirmation,
gaslighting, narcissist, gaslight. What's another one that they like using? Toxic masculinity,
patriarchal
society,
menopause,
incel. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's basically what the sequel trilogy was. There was no deeper story being told. That's it. That's all it fucking was. I got molested when I was 10 and I still can't get over it. ATST.
Yeah, there isn't a lot of range in them.
No.
That's why at least I like about Attack of the Clones. It was half of it. It was like a detective story, and the other half was like
a romance. That's another thing.
And so it's like two separate stories. It's like you know how like when what's it called, Outkast. Remember when they had that double album, and half of it was half of it was Big Boy, and the other half of it was Andre 2000. That's what Attack of the Clones was. It was a double album. Half of it was Obi-Wan, half of it was Anakin. They're doing their own shit, but then at the end, they all of them come together to the main goal because they realized that their problems were connected to each other.
And one last thing, I don't know if you have anything else you want.
There isn't any other movie, even the original trilogy, doesn't replicate something like that. Okay, say your last thing.
I don't know if you have anything. I want to do the closing statement.
Well, wait, okay. If there's anything that you think, what do you think could fix Star Wars from what it is right now?
I was like, put it in the hands of somebody that actually likes it. But I mean,
they like it, but I feel like they want to do something that isn't, because just liking it, that's what got us a sequel trilogy. J.J. Abrams liked the first original 3 movies.
Give it to somebody that wants to tell a story.
I don't even know if that's true, because then you could get something like The Acolyte.
Okay, this is what they need to do. Just stop making Star Wars. Just keep producing. Just keep printing the fucking Legends, the Legends story novels, the comics, the video games. Just fucking give us that. I'm fine. I'm gonna experience. I still enjoy Star Wars. I enjoy the Legends shit. Anything else, I might watch Andor. I might not. The sequel trilogy, I try to avoid ever watching it. I want to watch Rogue One again.
How about, have you ever thought about playing, what's it called, the Fallen Order?
Yeah,
those ones do look kind of legit. But
no, they were good. I played the first one.
Okay.
But my last thing was just that Natalie Portman has to be the hottest girl that was ever in Star Wars.
Not Carrie Fisher.
Nah.
Not
And here's the thing. Natalie Portman is an old fucking hag. You know what I mean? Like, she's ancient, but you feel me? She's still pretty hot. Carrie Fisher got addicted to drugs. That's what it was. In one of the old cuts of Star Wars Episode 5, you could see her what do they call it? I think they call it
it's like a coke nail.
Yeah, coke nail. Yeah. No, other than the heroin nail, because she used to shoot it underneath the fingertip because it hits faster. But no, yeah, Natalie Portman was fucking hot, dude.
Yeah, she does. She was right for the role.
Yeah, she was hot as fuck.
Imagine if they actually did like recast another actress like for episode 2 and 3.
I think episode 2 and 3 is probably the hottest she's ever been in any movie.
It's the most. Those movies are the most erotic. Last thing I'm gonna show you. Let me see. Padme dress Attack of the Clones. Oh my gosh, I think it's this one. I don't know if this is true.
That's not the one. It's the one where they're by the sand.
No, this is the one. I need to talk about this one. I have something very important to say about this one. Let me see if it's capturing it. So this is the one where they're in like that like ambient area.
Like, oh, you're tearing me apart.
So this one allegedly was designed by George Lucas, and it's probably the most like erotic. The scene in general, I don't want to pull up the scene, but this is the most erotic looking Star Wars ever looked. And I heard that I don't know how true this is, but I heard that George Lucas designed it, and the black, like this thing is supposed to be like the black hand around her neck, which is Anakin's hand.
Oh.
But yeah, this is what I'm gonna close out with. Happy May 4th. May the Force be with you. Yeah, that's it. Bye.